Paese, or Little Village of Sismano, with a friend of mine, Susan Evans. We're at La Veranda, her beautiful villa, and Susan is living the dream of many. She is actually a version of the real life Under the Tuscan Sun. She took this villa, and actually it wasn't a villa when she bought it, and she transformed it all on her own, and Susan's going to tell us a little bit about what she did, it's such a beautiful, beautiful villa. Susan, ciao, why don't you tell us about what you did here, how you did this magnificent work of art all on your own.
Thanks, Maria. I guess it started out when I took a vacation in 1999 with some friends in the south of France, and we rented a villa for a couple weeks with a swimming pool, and just a day there without going anywhere was wonderful. So we had a swimming pool. It was in the countryside in the agriculture. But the next 2 years I helped organize the trips to Italy, and just had such a love for the food and the culture and the people that I decided to buy my own property and think, well, worst case scenario, it's a vacation home. And second case scenario, I can make it into a business. And through lots of trials and tribulations and decisions and ups and downs, it became what it is today.
What I'd like to know from Susan, since it's tucked away, it seems to be tucked away in the hills of Umbria. Susan, how do people find you? Because you do have guests here and groups that come to experience this wonderful little village.
Yes, I think when I was going through the restoration project, I kept everyone abreast of the project and the progress. And so I think a lot of people have seen the evolution of the house through emails and just information like that. The word of mouth is the best. When people come and then they have such a wonderful experience with everything that the Umbria Hills have to offer, yes. They tell other people. But also I work with a lot of, or several, I would say, agencies. One of the ones specifically is HomesAway.com. has really been successful providing guests to the villa. They provide a service where they have a local host that comes and greets the guest and really makes them feel at home and with a lot of knowledge about the local area.
Susan, can you tell us about some of the local foods that you shared with me while I was here enjoying my wonderful stay here?
Sure, Maria, thanks. One of the things that I find interesting here is not only are the fruits and vegetables of season, but also some of the meats and poultry. And my friend Sonia, my neighbor, has a macelleria, which is a butcher shop. And as we went yesterday, we were able to taste some of the locally produced meats. But what I find interesting is, they raise the lamb to where the lamb is at the right age, right for Easter. So if you want to get a lamb for Christmas, it's not possible because they're not at the right age. And it's interesting throughout the year. It's difficult to get lamb at certain times, but then at other times it's very plentiful. And I think a lot of the people here produce fruits and vegetables and meats like that.
On a seasonal basis, just like we always talk about the locally produced foods and how it's better to eat fruits and vegetables in season. Here they also produce their meats in season. And what about some of the locally produced wines? What are the wines that they produce in this region?
Well, for the whites, the most popular is Orvieto Classico, which comes from the area of Orvieto. And then we find for the reds from Montefalco, you find the Sagrantino di Montefalco, Rosso di Montefalco, and those are some of the most known and popular wines around the world from the Umbrian region.
And how about, I know olive oil is wonderful in Umbria. Umbria is actually one of my favorite places for olive oil. Do you have any places like little towns or villages that produce their own olive oil here?
Well, interesting enough, a lot of people have their own olive orchards, and they pick the olives, by hand typically on each November through December and January. But there's a lot of local mills that people all have their favorites, and each mill has a little bit different characteristics in their process. But I find the one in Portoria is quite interesting, and it's a family-run business where people bring their olives locally and then have their olives pressed for their own wine.
For their own olive oil, that's great. We're talking about so many different foods today. And yesterday we also tried a local pecorino cheese that they do in Umbria, which was a wonderful cheese. So that's a locally produced cheese. How about any local fruit and vegetable markets in the area? Are there any local places you can go to get those?
There's a couple. There's one near Todi that's a frutteria and verduria, and also Mondo Frutta, which is an acqua sparta that has fresh things come in every day. Half the time the dirt's still on them, so it's not a prepackaged item, but it's always within season.
Exactly, and also we have to mention that most people here grow their own, right? Their own fruits and vegetables. So, most of the locals will have most of their own fruits and vegetables, and they just supplement what they don't have with the vegetables that they get at the fruits and markets.